Hello everyone and welcome back to Boson Buzz. I'm Monty Molecule. Our modern world hums with invisible energy, powering everything from the phone in your hand to the thermostat on your wall. But there's a quiet, constant chore underpinning it all: the search for a power outlet. We hunt for chargers, swap out dead batteries, and feel that little pang of anxiety when a device's battery icon dips into the red. For small essential gadgets, TV remotes, wireless keyboards, smoke alarms, sensors, this dance is particularly tedious. What if we could free these everyday workhorses from their tether to the wall? What if they could sip energy from the very air around them, running not for months, but for years, or even indefinitely? Today, we're unplugging from the old grid and tuning into a new kind of power: the everlasting charge. This is the story of harvesting whispers of energy to shout a device to life. Batteries are a marvel of stored power, but they are also prisoners of their own chemistry. They hold a finite amount of energy, and when it's gone, they must be replaced or recharged, a cycle of consumption and waste. For decades, the goal was simply to pack more energy into smaller spaces, leading to powerful but still finite lithium-ion cells. Yet for many low-power devices, the energy they need to operate is tiny, a mere trickle compared to a smartphone's gulp. The problem became one of balance. A wireless mouse might sit idle for 23 hours a day, using a minuscule amount of power, only to need a burst when you click. A traditional battery provides a vast ocean of power for this tiny pond of need, and most of its capacity is wasted on self-discharge, the slow leakage of energy over time, even when the device is off. The quest began not for a better battery, but for a battery that could refill itself continuously from its surroundings. The concept is called energy harvesting. It's the art of scavenging tiny amounts of energy from the ambient environment, light, heat, motion, even radio waves, and converting it into usable electricity. The breakthrough is in making this harvest efficient enough and the devices frugal enough to create a perfect self-sustaining loop. Think of it like this: a standard battery is like a water tank. You use the water until it's empty. Then you have to refill it from a hose. Energy harvesting is like installing a tiny, clever rainwater gutter on the tank. It might only collect drops during a drizzle, but if you're only using a spoonful of water a day, those drops are more than enough to keep the tank perpetually full. The device lives off the drizzle, never needing the hose. So how does this endless drizzle become power? It starts with ultra-efficient microgenerators, each tuned to a different kind of environmental whisper. The most common harvester is the photovoltaic cell, a solar cell. But these are now so thin, flexible, and sensitive they can work under indoor lighting, not just direct sun. Integrated into a device's casing, they can convert the light in your room into a tiny, constant trickle of power. Then there is motion. Piezoelectric materials generate a small electrical charge when they are bent or vibrated. A button press on a remote, the subtle vibration of a passing truck, even the swing of a door. These can all be captured. Thermoelectric generators exploit temperature differences. The gap between your warm hand and the cooler air, or between a sun-warmed surface and shade, can create a flow of electrons. Perhaps the most futuristic source is radio frequency harvesting. The air around us is thick with invisible radio waves from Wi-Fi routers, cell towers, and broadcast signals. Specialized antennas can capture a minuscule fraction of this ambient RF smog and convert it into power. It's like a device eating the static of our connected world. But harvesting is only half the battle. The real genius is in the extreme frugality of the devices themselves. They are designed from the ground up to be misers. They use ultra-low-power chips that spend almost all their time in a deep sleep state, drawing a mere fraction of a nanoamp, a billionth of an amp. They wake up in a microsecond to perform a task, sensing a temperature, registering a click, sending a data packet, and then instantly fall back asleep. Their power consumption is so low that even the meager harvest from dim light or stray vibrations is enough to keep their tiny energy buffer, often a small capacitor or a long-life battery, topped up. The result is a flow that feels oddly human. Jams start to dissolve from the inside out. The frustrating, inexplicable standstills become rare. Travel times become more predictable. There's less aggressive braking and accelerating, which means less fuel wasted and cleaner air. The road network behaves less like a clogged pipe and more like an adaptive organism. The impact extends beyond commute times. Emergency vehicles get dynamically cleared pathways, with lights turning green ahead of them as their route is communicated to the network. Delivery trucks can be guided to less congested routes at specific times, making logistics more efficient and cheaper. The city itself becomes more breathable, both in terms of traffic and emissions. Looking ahead, the charm will only deepen. As more vehicles connect directly to the system, they could receive hyper-personalized guidance, like a haptic pulse in the steering wheel suggesting a lane change or a dashboard displaying the optimal speed to catch the next green wave. In a future of autonomous vehicles, the traffic charmer becomes the ultimate air traffic controller for cars, orchestrating seamless, collision-free movement where traffic jams are a relic of a less communicative past. We are moving towards a world where the road is not a dumb slab of concrete, but an intelligent partner in our journey, where the goal isn't just to move cars, but to move people with minimal friction and maximal calm. It's a vision of urban harmony, conducted not with blaring horns, but with silent, persuasive data, a true charm for the chaotic heart of the city. From finite drain to infinite gain, the everlasting charge shows us that by listening to the quiet energy all around us and building devices that live within their means, we can create a future where our most helpful tools are also our most independent, a future that's truly unplugged. If the idea of endless ambient power sparks your curiosity, please give us a like and subscribe to Boson Buzz. Until next time, have a safe and curious week.